Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum, everybody.
Hopefully everybody is doing well on this, fifth week of our Pre-Ramadan Series, the importance of the Muslim family. We've been able to stay consistent, get them all done. So we've done to date one, self, marriage, parenting, community, and now today we're going to be talking about legacy. And so in the same form, today we have some brothers on to talk about legacy. Inshallah, Friday we'll have, some sisters joining us to talk about legacy. And so I think we're ready to jump right in.
Yeah. Let's
bring in these dynamic brothers that we have joining us this evening. So it's going to bring the brothers to the stage.
Now, Assalamualaikum, good brothers.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How y'all doing?
Alhamdulillah. Fantastic, incredible, remarkable.
Alhamdulillah, I like that one, man.
What he said.
You know what I'm talking
about?
That's why he the imam.
Exactly.
There it is.
Alhamdulillah, man. Shukran for joining us today, man. We're gonna be talking about something very important. That's legacy. You know, what is all this work we doing for? What is it really for? You know, and that's to be able to leave behind a good legacy, inshallah. You know, inshallah. And we have two dynamic people on with us today. We have Imam Suleiman from the Atlanta Masjid of Al-Islam. Assalamu alaikum, Imam. How you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam. Honored to be with you all this evening.
Alhamdulillah.
It's definitely the honor is ours.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have author Masood Abdul Haq, my big brother. How you doing, brother?
Man, alhamdulillah. Pleased to be here. I'm admiring the work that you guys are putting out. You guys are putting out high quality content at a high, fast pace, and that's commendable.
It feels like it too.
It feels like it for sure.
Yeah, I bet. I'm like, if this is pre-Ramadan, I can't wait to Ramadan.
Ramadan is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
We're trying to get ready for it.
No, inshallah. And we'll soon be joined by our dear brother, council member Bashir Jones. He's gonna join us a little later on, inshallah. And so when you all think of
you're not gonna give him like a more proper introduction?
Well, sister, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was just asking because we had asked. So,
hey, I didn't see my perfectly fine.
It's all right.
Right.
My bad. I hit you by mistake. So if y'all are good, then I'm good. I just didn't want to skimp. You know, we didn't want to just keep it moving.
We on your time.
Right. Alhamdulillah.
All right, well, let's go on and jump right in. Go ahead.
So when you all think of legacy, what is it? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the word legacy?
Masood got that red shirt on, so he gets to go first. And when I think about legacy, I think about the way that we can have an impact that lasts beyond our final breath. So I think about the work that can continue to benefit the community, that can continue to benefit the world long after we're gone, right? And that can be whether it's an institution like the masjid or whether it's children, you know, leaving good children who are a benefit to the world. That's what I think of when I think of legacy. It's just the things that after that last person leaves the graveyard, when you're buried and that last pile of dirt is thrown on you, you know, then the legacy clock starts, right? And that's when those stories start to get told and, good or bad, you know, what people say will become how you're remembered. Yeah. And, we'll get into a little bit more of my philosophy surrounding it, but that's the short answer.
No, inshallah. Imam, what about you?
I would say generational. That's the first word that comes to mind. Thinking of generations, and I'll give my imami answer. I think of the Kaaba and Ibrahim, Ishmael. You know, that's something that father built with his son, and his wife, and that's, you know, that's a legacy that continues on today. So generational, and something that continues from one generation to the next.
Now, how do you all think that, you know, this thing called COVID-19 is gonna impact the legacy? You know, because we're having to change directions as far as things. So we're like inventing, in a way, new things, right? New ways of doing things. So how is that gonna impact the trajectory of legacy, in your opinion?
That's interesting. You know, when it first started, I asked my children, I realized, I said, do y'all know what 9/11 is? And they didn't. They had no idea what 9/11 was. Their thing was Corona. That's their thing for their generation, you know? Right. And so the reality of just seeing my kids argue over which mask they're going to wear, and my daughter telling me mask up before we go into Walmart, you know, that it has really developed this generation of our children, you know, that this is a big impact of their lives. So I definitely think, and I mean, how we, you know, virtual Juma and all that stuff. So it's definitely making a difference in the reality of our lives as just Muslims and people. Definitely.
No.
I think it's shining a light on the resourcefulness of people, or lack thereof. Yep. You know, it's like a lot of people found a way to become better and a way to expand and improve during the pandemic, while others found excuses. They say, oh, well, I got 18 to 24 months off and I've got a built-in excuse. You know, pretty much anybody, if they don't want to do anything right now, they don't have to do it, and nobody's really going to hold it against them if they don't really want to. So it kind of separated the real workers and the real ingenuitive and resourceful people from those who are not, and those who are excuse makers. And I really feel like those who have taken on the mantle, such as you guys, to become more, of a resource to the community, and more, ambitious during this time. I think that when it gets back to quote unquote normal, those of us who have taken advantage of this time and seen the blessing and the benefit of it are gonna be way ahead of the curve from those who took 18 to 24 months off.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I know when it first happened, it was like we knew that it wasn't going to go away overnight. You know, we knew that it was something that was going to be here, and so we had to pivot. You know, and the things that we were doing, because we're a social family. We come to gatherings and things of that nature, and we said we
noticed.
Yeah, I'm gonna need one of them cakes that y'all gave Moses to come for an occasion to get a cake.
Your wife already said, I don't know if
okay, wonderful.
Right, you good.
I don't know what the plan is, but this is what I need.
Excellent.
So I got y'all.
Yeah. And so, you know, we were like, we have to, because this is who we are, you know what I mean? Right. And so it was like, how do we continue to be who we are in this climate, you know, to continue to, our parents were both, you know, builders and community people. And it's like, we want to instill that in our children. How can we do that in a virtual capacity? And so we started figuring it out, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, different programs popped off, and we've been able to, you know, build on that. And so alhamdulillah, you know what I mean? It's been as we said last week, we've been building the plane as we flying it, and we haven't crashed yet.
Yeah. The first lives was interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
I mean, we were on it like, oh, this is terrible, but oh well, this is just where we are.
But
kudos.
Yeah, but you know, alhamdulillah, you know, we believe in our leadership, you know what I mean, and we see the work that the leadership is doing, and especially here in Atlanta, the collective leadership that's headed by our dear Imam, you know. Yeah. We respect leadership. And so the leadership said, we're not coming together right now. We're not coming together right now. You know what I mean? And so how do we still come together? You know what I mean? We can't not come together. That's just, it's almost impossible. It's like the blood running through your veins. It's like, no, we gotta come together, whether that's a phone call, a text, an email, and now these lives, you know. And so it was like figuring out a way to build that back up, you know. And so alhamdulillah, you know, alhamdulillah for it all, you know. But yeah, you know, one of the things, Imam, I wanted to commend you on is the willingness to be open. I remember we had a dispute at the gym. For anybody who doesn't know, we have a gym here in Atlanta, right? That I mean, we've been doing this, and we talk about right. We're talking about
y'all gonna call me out.
No, but I have to commend you on this.
Corona basketball games.
And so, you know, it got to a point where Imam made us, right, get a better hold on what it is that we're doing. You know, that was I want to say that was 5 or 6 years ago. You know, where he stopped it. He said, all right, y'all got to get a better handle on this thing. You know, y'all are moving, but there's no real direction going on. So we had to regroup, you know, and that was because Imam Suleiman, he saw that this was something that could benefit the community, but it needed to be more organized. And sometimes you have to pause, right, in order to better organize yourself. Then you can move forward. And I think that that's what we have going on right now, is that communities are having to pause, get reorganized, better tool this thing, and then we can move forward. So inshallah, that's what, you know, that, you know, sports is always a good metaphor for me and my suit also, you know, it's like, it's a microcosm, you know what I'm saying, for society, essentially, you know what I mean? And it's
and that's part of building legacy too, though, you know, ensuring that you have put some meat on those bones of whatever the thing is that you're developing, that it'll last. You know what I mean? Okay, we can just come play basketball or, you know, whatever, but let's develop whatever that thing is in a manner that this is going to, you know, be sustainable and something that'll be real beneficial. So, you know, alhamdulillah, I give the honor back to y'all, you know, to even have that opportunity for brothers to come together and be healthy, and you know what I'm saying, and have that brotherhood. So alhamdulillah, it's all together.
Alhamdulillah. We wanted to go ahead and introduce our brother Bashir. He has joined us. We're gonna bring our dear brother along.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor is in the building.
Mayor has stepped into the building.
What's happening, family?
Not much. How you doing, man?
Blessings, man.
What's up, brother?
Yo, assalamualaikum. What's up, baby?
Waalaikumsalam. Yeah, I like what you're doing with the 500
pinstripe on this tonight. We was dressed down.
Like galvanize your people, man. I love it.
Yeah, man.
A big number that wakes people up, man.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, man. Thank you for joining us, brother Bashir, man. And you know, we want to definitely congratulate you on all your success in politics up there in Cleveland, and inshallah, we're doing everything we can to support you from down here, down south. To get you in that position that you're seeking, brother, that mayor seat, you know. And anything that we could do, you know, I think I just got an email today, just, you know, asking donate to your, you know, your campaign and things of that nature. And so we definitely gonna be supporting the cause, you know.
Wallahi, man, it means so much to me, man. It's always a pleasure to be in an amazing company. You know, Atlanta is my second home, man. You know, and it's my second home, and I miss you all tremendously. You know, being in Cleveland, I love my city of Cleveland, but Cleveland is like being in Job Corps, in Peace Corps. You know,
man, you better let your constituents hear you say that, brother.
It's work.
Like Goodwill, man. Come on, brother.
That's that work.
Peace Corps, man. You know, you're in the battlefield, man. So you know,
we miss you too, brother.
No, for sure. Yeah. So, you know, how, you know, I just want to give you a moment to kind of talk on, you know, how has it been growing and seeing the city grow, and the vision that you have for the city to where you want to take on this huge responsibility, man. That's a huge responsibility, you know?
Yeah, man. You know, wallahi, man, I really believe that if I had a choice, I wouldn't do it. You know, if it was a choice, you know, I mean, who would choose to become a target? Who would choose to become the butt of everyone's jokes and the target for all critics? And, you know, and I know the Muslims, they recite the hadith, well, brother, if they slander you and backbite you, brother, on the day of judgment, you know, you're going to get these black. I'm like, listen, brother, I think I hear what you're saying, man, but you know, it hurt right now. You know,
Right now, right. I'm feeling that right now.
I feel that right now. You know,
Yeah.
but so I don't feel like I was telling somebody that, you know, if this was a crown that I had a choice, if I had a choice with this crown, man, I would take it off and give it to you. But this is the responsibility that Allah put on me. So I don't even have no choice but to run. It doesn't feel like there's a choice. And I think that as Muslims across the country, we have to be more engaged in politics because that is where the resources, you know, that's where the resources are. Economic resources, economic freedom. And as a community without economic, that's why I admire, you know, Atlanta Masjid so much and admire you, you know, Ayub and Ancestor and Dola for what you all are doing as a family, how you are raising those beautiful girls to be, you know, economically. I always watch and smile, man, to see them, you know, doing all this business. Like this is what it is. And Ayub, that's what your dad was about. Your dad was about establishing business. And that's what Masood is doing, him and his wife, establishing business. That's what Atlanta Masha is an example, for real, as you look across the country, an example of what it means of succession planning, right? And how communities should move forward and be able to move forward, and these torches should not burn the hands of the people that's in it. It should be passed. And when we don't pass it, then what ends up happening is every generation falls into the same hole. So, you know, I believe that politics is a part of it. Of course, spirituality, education, economics, all of these things are important, and somebody got to do it. And Allah chose me, man.
Nah, alhamdulillah, man. That's beautiful, man. And it's always a blessing to visit with you all, man. And the last time we were in Cleveland, man, the hospitality that you showed us, man, it was remarkable. And I think we're building on that. You know what I mean? I think that from that meeting at your house, we built on that. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just us getting together to pow. You know what I mean? And so I think that was really the catalyst for where we are, and the relationships that were built from that meeting has been very impactful. I know for us it's been very impactful, and I know Masood was there, you know, and I think that he would say
I had my own event too at his house, so I definitely second that.
Secret meetings.
And Dola, you weren't there?
No, I was there. I said the email there. I'm not leaving me out. I was there.
I thought so.
Yeah.
My therapist, man. He's helped me on many different occasions, man. I love you, brother. Alhamdulillah.
You know, it was interesting. You know, Masood, he just did a piece on the giants in his midst. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was, man, I think that everybody who read that was impacted by the significance of all these people that are in his midst. You know what I mean? These aren't people that are just, he knows from such and such and such and such. These are people in his midst. And so Masood, tell us about how the idea to basically give people, as they say, give people their flowers while they're alive, you know, how they came about, how, you know.
Yeah, man, alhamdulillah. I mean, we're blessed to be in the presence of so many powerful people. And I think that if we blink, then we'll miss it. Or if we ponder on something else too long, then we'll make something else outside of our own group so grandiose and lose sight of the things that are great within our own community. And, you know, a lot of it for me, it came from, you know, just reading. I read a lot, and I was reading about the Harlem Renaissance and some of the people who would be, you know, frequenting the same places in Harlem at the time. You know, you might see a revolutionary or a jazz singer, or, you know, any given given great person at that time. And I'm thinking, like, I mean, that's cool, but I mean, we have that right now. You know, it's like if we just look around us, and I'm just thinking about, I'm like 28 days, and you know, that's easy. I know I can do 28, you know, beasts within a month. So, you know, I just jumped out there and said I was going to do it, and I didn't think about, you know, the everyday part of it. You know, come day 3, I was like, ooh, I got 25 more of these things to go. You know what I mean? but you know, they kept rolling, and alhamdulillah, man, like the story, they kind of fed off of each other. I didn't really have like a set, you know, I'm going to do this person this day. It was really kind of organic. And I just wanted to make sure that I touched on a lot of different types of people and different types of industries, you know, type of people who some of them are bigger names, other people, you know, people may not have known. But I always think about, like, if the electric grid goes off right now, you know, who would the leaders be then? You know, who would we look to if there was no internet, if there was no electricity? Like, who would the leaders be? And I tried to feature people who I felt would be, you know, in any time, like if the world started over, and this is my starting lineup, you know, give me Imam Suleiman, give me Bashir, give me Ayub and Ndola. Like, I'm rolling with, you know what I mean? Give me Farouk Hunter so we can, you know, start this thing over again. Give me somebody who can grow some food. Yeah. And that's what it really was, man. I was like, we have our own renaissance going on right now. And you know, if you take a finer tooth comb, or you take a magnifying glass to some of the people that we see every day, you'll see some beautiful characteristics that we could all learn from. And I've learned so much from everybody here was on the list, alhamdulillah, from you guys and from others. Right, yes. You know, from others, but you know, it turned into something beautiful. Alhamdulillah, I was glad to be in the middle of that.
It was exemplary, and I didn't even know everybody on there, but after reading it, I kind of felt like I did. Like, it was so personal and very real. Like, I mean, I do know you, so that helped. But I was like, you can't nobody really make this up. Like, right. It was very, very authentic, and it was just like, even if I'm not getting on social media today, I'm about to go read this Giants in the Mist. Like, I got to make sure I catch it.
Right. So Imam, like, you know, I know I'm not gonna hog up too much of y'all's time, but when we did our recap show, I had your sister come on. She was kind of like a part of the show. I don't know if you caught it or not, but we was making fun of you a little bit.
It was all right. Yasmin gets that honor. She gets that honor.
Yeah. So, and then one of the things that was funny was, you know, I got a glimpse of some of your haters, you know, when I posted your thing. I was like, who hates this man? You know what I'm saying?
And talked about it, man. It's like, you feel that stuff. You know, we think that we can be spiritual and let it roll off, but hey, when they shooting at you, brother.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, they got so much hatred that they coming at somebody who just sat down and wrote 600 nice words about somebody. It's like, nah, actually, you know what I mean? So,
no, that was a beautiful series though. I enjoyed it as well. That was beautiful.
Yeah. What Bashir, back to you. What has been the most impactful thing to keep you going? You know what I mean? Like, to keep because again, like Masood just talked about, man, like, I know the haters is there, man. Like, you know what I mean? I know they're there, but like, what really, and because this is a part of your legacy, right? And the things that you've been through in your life and for your family, what has been that driving force to keep it going, man?
It's those nice suits that he has on from Yusuf Chroma.
Yusuf Chroma collection.
So Yusuf is a part of it,
right?
All right.
Wallahi, man. One of the things is my brothers and sisters from Atlanta, man. Wallahi, man. You know, Atlanta was my, you know, that's where my mother's buried. You know, Atlanta is. I get emotional, man, because I love my folks from Atlanta, man, because they represented the best times of my life in Atlanta. It was the purest times of my life. It was the times that I was most certain. It was the time that I was most religious. I mean, just being transparent, which it was the time that I was. It was the times I felt the most. I felt my best brotherhood. You know what I mean? That's when I felt the most Muslim. You know what I mean? Maybe this don't make sense to some, man, but you know, for me, it's when I felt the most spiritual. You know, So, you know, the love that I got from Atlanta, and the Muslims in Atlanta, was so pure because it was before all of this. You know what I mean? It was before all this, and it was pure, man. It was pure. It was, you know, yeah, man. I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. So that is what keeps me going. When I look and I see those beautiful babies, you know what I'm saying, the Shakors, and I see them beautiful girls, when I see, you know, Masood and his family doing this thing in Oklahoma, you know, stuck for lying, I ain't gonna tell my sins, man, but like, man, I listen. My Juma is in Atlanta. I listen to Imam Suleiman, man. I'll show you. Right? I'll pull up my what's this thing?
Yeah, I think everybody has Spreaker like at the top. Like, you know what I mean?
Wallahi, man.
Spreaker is a lifesaver.
Yeah.
My Spreaker on, man, and I listen to Imam Suleiman, man, and I just be like inspired because I don't feel, you know, besides this work that I'm doing, I'm just praying, man, to Allah, man, that I'm just praying that this work will be sufficient, you know what I'm saying, for the next life, man, because I felt more spiritual in Atlanta. I felt more religious in Atlanta. I felt more of a brotherhood in Atlanta. I felt, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the Muslims in Atlanta is very different from Muslims anywhere in America. All right? Telling you. The Muslims, with all due respect to everyone everywhere else, but for me, Black Muslims in Atlanta, they tend to be the most educated. They tend to be the most business oriented. They tend to be the most religious, most spiritual. Eads be popping, blah blah blah. It's like you find your equals and your teachers. You know what I'm saying? But when you but Allah sent you to the trenches, and Allah sent me to the trenches back here in Cleveland. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I know Masu can relate going back to Oklahoma, being in Oklahoma. He sent you to the trenches where you the leader, and you don't necessarily want to be the leader. You don't even necessarily, you know, don't that remind us of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, man, who he said to Allah, why you? I'm just giving my words, you know,
right,
not verbatim, but you know, why you sending me? I'm a murderer. I can't even talk well, man. Send my brother with me because I can't, you know. But Allah makes who He wants. Allah will send it. So I feel like Allah sent me here to Cleveland. If I had a choice, I would be in Atlanta. If I had a choice, I would be somewhere where I could. My mother is 5 minutes away, where I can go and visit my mother. You know what I'm saying? Where I can be in the midst of people who I believe that I can learn from and benefit from. But instead, Allah sent me on a mission. So, you know, that's just real, man. I'm just, you know, I miss you all. You know, you inspire me, you motivate me. Don't get me wrong. I see my brother Jermaine. Detroit, I love Detroit too, man. But, Atlanta just got a special place in my heart.
Man, Detroit ain't got nothing going on, brother.
I didn't want to say it. Thank you very much, Imam, for lowering that on down.
No, that was just for Jermaine. That was just for Jermaine. Ain't no, it's all love.
Jermaine, no, he bugging. Don't hold a candle, but yeah.
No, but that's so real, man. That's so real what Bashir said. I mean, I love being in Atlanta because it's kind of like a buffet of Islam. Like, you know, one of the things that Imam Suleiman's hater said was like, we don't go to his cookbar to see him. We go to fulfill our obligations and all this. And I was like, nah, you knew he was going to be speaking and you had different options. And you went there. You knew what you was getting into,
right?
And you went because he put it down, right? But if you got a different flavor in mind, you can go to a different flavor the next week, you know. And that's the beauty of Atlanta is like I can walk into a musalla and just be soaking stuff up. You know what I mean? I can be there to learn, but you know, I can be 30th in line for ilm. Right?
I mean, our generation changed that. You know what I mean? Because when we got down there, I was going to Morehouse. You had the brothers at the West End. You had the Muslims over at Atlanta Masjid. And let's just be real, in Atlanta in itself, you know what I mean? You had like this serious separation. in between the Muslims from
Right.
the West End. When I started going to West End, they thought I was the CIA. Let's just be real.
That's what they used to though. You gotta
just assume anybody.
Somebody got to be the police, brother. Somebody got to be the police, man.
As soon as I came in, oh man, he worked for the feds. I was like,
yeah. He's new. He's a fed.
He speak too well, bro.
And then Atlanta mass shit, that was Atlanta mass shit.
You from the other side. You from the West side, brother. Right.
So we
you don't go between the East and the West now.
Nah, we ain't care.
So our
generation didn't care
about it.
At all.
Intentional about our activities. We started planning. And Ayub remember, and then Dola and Latifa, you know what I'm saying? We started doing events. We're going to do this poetry nights. We're going to do events. We started doing collaborations. So I'm just bringing up these good memories, man.
It's good stuff, though, man.
He's reminiscing for real.
Right.
Yeah, we started doing all these events, and we started being intentional about Atlanta mass shit and West End in particular to start really working. You know what I'm saying? Working with them. And imagine all those big events we started doing, the Riadas. Atlanta mass shit wasn't really coming to Riadas, man. You know what I mean? But
right. Now they hosting Riadas.
Now they hosting, yeah.
That's how it goes.
Right.
You remember? We started hosting the Riata, and we used Atlanta mass shit through Imam Suleiman and Ayub with the West End, and we said, you know what, we about to bring everybody together. We started doing
it was beautiful.
It was.
No. And that just goes to the leadership, man, to be open to doing that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like you said, man, that was 15 years ago almost, and now look at us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, like you said, just being intentional about it. You know what I mean? Understanding that we are one brotherhood, we are one community, and that was just we can look back now and mashallah, man.
Atlanta Mashi had the sisters though. That was the real thing.
Hey, we still got them too.
All right, Jahan and Shahida, y'all men folk on here. These ain't no damn brothers on your screen, sisters. Unfortunately,
we're building legacy.
I know we got some beautiful brothers with me on here today. None of them are available. Jahan, Mecca, Shahida, I got y'all. Y'all my people. None of these brothers are okay. All right, wait, Jahan. All right, she on here. We're mother sister. I always got y'all. We're mother sister.
You were supposed to be doing another live.
I thought she was on her own live.
Well, she checking in though, because she already know what it is. You don't be married to no brother doing work and not know what it is. We know what it is.
Don't speak for all of us.
But to kind of pull from the reminiscing that we're doing, it led me to another thought, which is a lot of times when we were young, we were doing that stuff because we were just moved to do it. But now that we're older, we all have children. I know for me and Ayub, it comes up a lot. What is kind of what you want your own legacy to be? Because I don't think that's something we thought about when we started that work. It was just work that needed to be done. But now we're mid-30s, 40s, everybody's grown. And so I know it's on, something to think about. And so, Imam, if you don't mind answering first, I would love to know what your thoughts are on that.
I was thinking about it when you all gave the subject earlier. So my father's a paralegal, but he's also a musician. He wrote a song called "Did We Give Our Lives in Vain?" Right? So that was the chorus. We want to know, did we give our lives in vain? So he say the name of like a famous black leader and then the chorus. So I think about my son, particularly my oldest child and my daughter, and as far as legacy, just wanting them to continue serving people, and serving community. He doesn't have to be, people tease him, Imam Sultan, that's my son's name. You don't have to be no Imam, but he should, do something to continue service and serving people. So as far as what I'm trying to instill in him and my daughter is just to understand that, this is, I think I know all of us on this Zoom or whatever what's this thing, StreamYard, we're all, born as community servants, So just to pass that on to my children to know that we have to continue serving our people, serving our community, and that's part of our DNA and our makeup. So that's what I would say as far as my children, to instill that in them, that they'll continue this life of service, inshallah.
Yeah, the servant leader. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Masood, would you like to?
I can go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Masood, man, is Masood one of the best writers. I meant to just say, yo, for everybody tuning, he's one of the best writers, man, I've ever read, man. And I didn't get a chance to say anything about that beautiful book that he wrote, which is a part of our legacy, and the fact that you not only showed your beautiful writing skills, but that you showed the definition of humbleness, man. You know what I'm saying? And be able to shed light on somebody outside of yourself. And that's the beautiful thing, that when you take the life of shining light outside of yourself, Allah ends up shining the light on you. You know what I'm saying? It's like when the best thing you can do. How you say you love me as your brother, you never even prayed for me, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's the best thing that we can. That's the best and worst thing that we could do to our brothers is use with our mouths, man. Right. The worst thing we can do is backbite and slander, right? The Prophet said, well, what if it's true? Even if it's true, he didn't want you to know, okay? Right. He didn't want you to know. That you still wrong for it, right? I mean, I just think that's a powerful thing. That's a powerful. You backbiting. Well, if it's live, but what if it's true? Did he want you to know? Okay, well then that's wrong. You can't do that either. You know what I mean? So, and the best thing you can do is make dua for your brother, make dua for your sister, where the angels say, "Ameen," and for you too. You know, this is a powerful thing, man. So I just wanted to say that. The second thing I wanted to say was, when you think about this legacy, you know, the legacy I wanna leave, and I don't do it quite well. I don't do it the best, but I do love Islam, man, and I want my children and Muslims coming up to love this deen. I'm not saying you perfect, you're gonna be perfect, but not only love this deen, but also love humanity. And that if we want to spread this deen, spreading it is not just in the form of dawah pamphlets, but it's spread in the form of action and service, and how you treat people, how you deal with them, how you talk to them, love, you know. And you know, as I'm doing this work here in Cleveland, I take my children with me. Today is my youngest son's birthday. Aside, he's 5 years old today, and I take them to the marches with me. You know what I'm saying? I take them to service, and in my mother's name, we started something called the Imani Food Distribution Center. Over 1,000 people we feed a month. Right? They're there, you know, passing out the food to our people. So that's the legacy I want to leave, man. I want to share something personal with you. You know, I'm sitting here right now, man. I got to carry this little thing around right now, man, because I went to the doctor, man. They said I got type 2 diabetes, man.
No.
Diabetes, man. And the reason why I'm bringing it up to you is because, you know, in this light of service, sometimes you can forget about yourself, forget about your family. And as was said by my brother, with all the great work that Imam does, there's still gonna be people criticizing and hating, right? But it's people like me, where wallahi, there's times, brother, I heard you do a khutbah, and wallahi, I thought you wrote it for me, and I just was listening to it, brother, and it inspired me, it motivated me, and it gave me the hope to go on. Because there's days I want to quit, there's days I want to stop, there's days, brother, that I say, you know, I don't want to do this no more, man. But watching you, all of you, I'll be inspired by you to keep moving, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. So that's the legacy I want to leave. I want to leave a legacy of love for all people, despite where you come from, despite what you believe, despite your culture, despite what you've done. You know what I mean? Love, man. So.
Man, I got to start going first.
I tried to. I need to try.
Oh man, I got to echo what my brother said, and you know, just add, like, for me personally, you know, I feel a responsibility. You know, people say, "Oh, you're a great writer," and to me, it's like, at a certain point, you have to understand, you know, the tools that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you, right? And so I don't want to ever be fake humble and be like, oh no, I'm not good. There's so many that are better. It's like, no, it's a responsibility that comes with that, though, right? Like when you have the ability to speak to people's hearts the way that Bashir does, when you have an ability to read the room and have a finger on the pulse of a community the way Imam Sulaiman does, and be able to deliver just the exact words that that community needs to be able to continue to go forward, then that's not only a talent, it's not only a skill, it becomes a burden almost and a responsibility. Yeah. Right. So with my responsibility, I feel an immense pressure to continue to highlight the great things in people, you know, and inspire people to look for the good in others instead of, I mean, there's so many things out there geared toward looking for imperfections and faults and the negative things. But, you know, if we're actively seeking, you know, the great qualities in each other, I feel like that's going to unite hearts. That's going to unite communities. And this right here is a perfect example of that. You know, just as Bashir pointed before, there used to be a rift in the previous generation between Atlanta Masjid, West End, between Warathi Muhammad and Imam Jamil, between Elijah Muhammad and the Dar, all that kind of different stuff. And we ain't here for that stuff. You know what I mean? Like we looking for like-minded individuals who are working toward creating a better place for our children to live and leave them something that they can continue to build on. And I'm just another cog in that wheel, but my responsibility is to use the pen to be able to preserve, you know, not only my own, you know, what I've been able to do or whatever, or not, and that's last for me really, but really everything else, you know, during the wrap up show, my mother-in-law, Joy Ahmed, she said that she said that history is preserved by the griots or something like that. But then Bashir Ahmed also said that writers and authors are the protectors of history. Yeah. So we want to make sure that our history is being properly documented so that other people don't come in and rewrite it and say, oh, well, the Black Muslims in America in the 2010s were, you know, something other than how beautiful we actually are.
No. Alhamdulillah, yeah. That's I mean, like you said, just looking back on the last 10, 15 years and the collective work that we've been able to do as a community, especially here in Atlanta, I mean, the impact, man, is significant. I've known brothers who have moved on and came back and was like, y'all still hooping on Sunday? Y'all still doing that? But that's, to me, it was like, that's something that we do, but it's so significant to our community at this point that it's almost hard to imagine it not being there. And so now we're working on ways to try to cultivate the new leaders of the gym, right? And looking at people and saying, okay, who could this responsibility go to? Because they have to know that it's bigger than basketball. It's bigger than that. It's the type of atmosphere that anybody should be able to walk into. If the man want to walk in there, it should still run just like he's not there. If brother Hamza still wants to come through, you know what I mean? It's still the same way. You know what I mean? And I think that all of our communities are moving towards that, to where it's acceptable. If you're Muslim, you're welcome at these communities, you know? And I think that it's setting a good example for our overall community to understand that it's not about separation. It's about what can we do together, man. And Atlanta has shown that with the Majalis, that when we come together, man, it can be so beautiful, man. And so, again, I will overcommend Imam Sulaiman and the leadership here in Atlanta, man, for being able to allow us to see that vision, man, come to life. You know, because it wasn't always like that.
Alhamdulillah. I'll touch back on what Brother Bashir said about the beauty of the love that he received from the community here in Atlanta. And I'll just say, for these people on this call, y'all just some wonderful people, right? So it's no way that you can't cooperate and collaborate with just great people, right? Yeah. But to say that, you know, we should be, as far as trying to build a legacy, look for more great people like that. And when you see good works and, you know, development like Bashir is doing in Cleveland, like Brother Masood is doing in Oklahoma, we have to do our part to support that with whatever little platform that Allah has given us. Yep. You know, it's our obligation to support goodness. So, you know, alhamdulillah, y'all make it easy. You know, if y'all was like some weirdos or something, you know, But y'all make it easy for alhamdulillah, for this generation of leadership to be able to support and work with. Alhamdulillah.
But, I mean, you support me in ways that you don't even realize, because I straight up bit your whole khutbatul hajah, the way that you break it down line by line, everything. I was like, they don't know this.
My pleasure, brother.
It's new to them. It's new to some.
I mix it in every now and then. You know? And I love how you point out the couple things. And this is off topic, but I had to say it. So when you talk about one thing, I can't stand the way people interpret khutbatul hajah, and they'll say, whoever Allah guides, no one can turn him astray, and whosoever Allah misguides. I'm like, Allah doesn't misguide, first of all, right? But you say whoever Allah allows to go astray. And then you don't say the evil in myself, you say the evil potential within ourselves. And that resonates. I mean, it's like words matter. And I know in the community, there's that saying, if you be a banner, words make people. And I love words, and it makes a difference, because every time somebody says Allah leads somebody astray, it makes me cringe.
Yeah.
And I had a good spoken word teacher in Mr. Bashir Jones, so he gets all the credit. Give him all the credit.
So before we move on, I would like to hear your answer to the question.
I mean, for me, man, you know, I've never lived anywhere else but Atlanta, right? And so even the little stints away from college, I don't count those because they were still here in Georgia. But it's been eye-opening to interact with those who have moved on to understand the impact that Atlanta has had on them. And like both of Masood and Bashir said, they miss it. And the trust that the leadership puts in me, you know, to give me access to our institutions. Like, I don't take that lightly. Like, I have the keys to our institutions in Atlanta. And that's a big responsibility, man. That is a big responsibility. And I don't take it lightly. And so I think that my legacy, I think that I've been known as the basketball brother, you know what I mean? But the thing that we were able to do with basketball for the Atlanta community, as far as fundraising, as far as just bringing people together in different events and things of that nature, has been so impactful. You know what I mean? I run into people who mention the basketball game between us and WD when they were the #1 ranked team in the state, you know, and how impactful that was to see those two things come together, you know, and to be able to compete to get the best out of each other, but it's still peaceful. We all got together and took a big group picture of one alumni game, you know, and it was to see the faces. Some of those faces are no longer here, you know what I mean? And to know that how much it meant to them, because it was a time when the communication wasn't so good.
You know, just make sure you don't tell them about the Adidas versus the ABA game.
That's what I was about to say. That's what we was looking on the Adidas.
Leaving that part out. The communities coming together. Yeah, right.
Because Brother Chad had stood up, and then what had happened.
But you know, and like I remember when I was introduced to Bashir, it was at a Riata in Maryland. You know, and Brother Jamal, he introduced Bashir to us and was like, this is a good brother right here. I want you to allow him to play. And it was just like, come on. And from there, it's been like this between me and Bashir. You know what I mean? And so
it's only because Bashir could hoop, though. If he couldn't hoop,
right.
He wouldn't be on the zone right now. He wouldn't even
I wasn't going to say nothing, Knock. I wasn't going to say nothing, man. The bench a little bit too long, man. I ain't going to say that.
Yeah, but no, just to be able to use the gifts. My father was a great athlete, you know what I mean? And so that was one of the things he instilled in us, was that physical fitness and being able to nurture relationships, right? And show people Islam in the midst of that. You know what I mean? I remember we used to go to the gym and we would pray at the gym, and then people would ask questions and things of that nature. So like Masood said, understanding your gifts and being able to utilize that to benefit the people, you know. And so for me, I want my legacy to be one that I was able to pull people together, right, for a collective good, you know, thinking outside of myself. I never did things for me. I wanted to do things for a collective good to benefit a community of people versus it's going to benefit me. And I want to be able to, like the platform that we're doing now, I think that that's what we're trying to teach our children and the people that are watching. Like, not about us, it's about all of us. You know what I mean? And being able to provide positive information for people to be able to continue to move forward. Like Bashir said, he hears reminders from people, other people, and it gives them that push to keep going. You know what I mean? And so that's what I think I want my legacy to be, man, is somebody who was able to bring people together, always wanted peace between people, and just want to be helpful. You know what I mean? Want to be able to help whenever I possibly can, and yeah, I think that summarizes what I think.
I guess that's fine.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, you know, and it's been a pleasure being able to have intimate moments with all of y'all, you know what I mean, to be able to speak those things and all of y'all give head nods is you know what I mean, that I appreciate that, you know what I mean, because I definitely want to be the type of person that I pray to Allah all the time, that he give me the guidance and the reminder to be the type of person that I want to be, and the person that I need to be, for those things to align with each other,
Well, I want to say, man, for all of you, your victories is my victories, and your pain is my pain, and that's how we have to be as a community. Instead of your pain is my victory, and your victory is my pain. And that's the unfortunate part about some people within our community, that we are excited. I mean, we throw a party for your pain. I mean, think about how evil of a space a person have to be in. That I'm happy that you hurting. That's something, man. And that's why, alhamdulillah, man, as men, man, you find arrows in our foreheads and not in our backs, man. And that's one thing that the reason why Ayub and I have grown that relationship, because we was on that basketball court. And then you can see when a person going to war, you learn a lot about a person when you're playing basketball. Who quit, who going to dive on that floor, who going to have a heart when you're down by 20, so forth and so on. So, that's where that comes from. But I want you all to know, and it's like we have our own like little clique, you know what I mean? It's like, it's us, and then you add, we got brothers in Detroit and some brothers from Philly, and the Riata did some of that too,
Right.
it brought that. But, just to see brothers, man, thriving and striving, and sisters as well, it makes us happy. And then I want to say to everybody that's tuned in, if you find any thrill in your heart when you see a brother or sister receive pain, that's a serious disease of the heart. That's alhamdulillah, man, I never want to have that test. You know what I mean? That's a serious disease of the heart that Masood says all these great things about Imam Suleiman, and somebody says, yeah, but like that's a sign of their own issues.
Yeah,
Because,
absolutely.
what I've realized, okay, I'll give you this situation. So when I was running for office the first time, I had these license plates, right? And this license plate said ice cold. So I'm a member of a fraternity, and it says ice cold, right? So one of the residents, they came up to me, they was like, Bashi, I gotta be real with you. I mean, I hated you for years. For years. I said, why you hate me? He said, I thought you were so arrogant. Like, who are you to have hold on your? I said, brother, ice cold is the fraternity slogan, man. He said, what? I said, it's the fraternity slogan, brother. He said, oh, man. So you wasted damn 3 years hating me, not even knowing that you was wrong in your hate. I mean, can you imagine a person?
Right.
I think about that, like you waking up every day with this hate in your heart, hoping that I fall, hoping that I'm going through pain, hoping. That's a terrible existence. So I'm just saying to everybody that's here, and for those who tuned in, as you striving to be great and striving to leave a legacy, understand that the critics is a part of it. Understand that you don't know that Allah could be having this backbiting and slandering just to purify some of your own sins that we have. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep going, and as I said, you all don't know the peace that you bring to people like myself who on the battlefield, and you all are on the battlefield, and just you exuding strength makes us stronger. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
When I see you victorious, I'm happy. When I see you in pain, I'm in pain. So that's the definition of love and community, I believe.
Definitely. Masood, what's up? What's on your mind, brother?
Well, no, I wanted to know what Indola's, what her legacy, what she wanted her legacy to be.
So really,
I mean, even though y'all are the Shakurs, y'all are Ayub and Indola too. Right?
We're the Shakurs and the Hager, kind of, but you know.
I think it's important to understand because, you know, they say, you know, if you want to understand the plight of a community, look at the plight of the women in the community. So if you got 5 people on a live talking about legacy, and we want to understand our real legacy, then we need to hear from the sister on the panel.
Honestly, I was as I've been listening to you guys' thing, it feels like a combination of everything that you said, but it does feel like a different kind of pressure because a part of the legacy is the children, and more often than not, women are judged much more harshly for the state of children than men. And so I always think about when my girls were all small, well, not that they're big now, but they were smaller. And maybe their hair wasn't as nice looking as it could have been this particular day. And Ayub took them out. And I heard comments about, oh, look at this good brother with his children. You know, it was just such a beautiful thing. And then I may have taken them out before their hair got done. And it was, why aren't the girls' hair done? And this sock doesn't match that sock. And you know, it was way more, and it seemed like a small thing, but women hear that stuff a lot about the way a child is presented, about what a child knows or doesn't know. I've seen children that don't know how to mix a line. And it's like, well, why didn't your mom teach you this? Or, you know, so forth and so on. And so when I think about legacy, I think about, I guess it's just as a product of some of that, I think about my children. And by my children, I really mean any children that I have had the pleasure of being with, any student I ever taught, any niece, any nephew, any random community masjid child that I ever, you know, grabbed their hand and said, sit with me while your mom or your dad or, you know, whatever. So our children, I think about the responsibility of making sure they know the lineage that they're a part of, like the history, the sacrifices that were made for them and the sacrifices that are being made for them to have a different kind of struggle. And so I don't know if that was you, Masood, that we were having a conversation with, but it was just about, yes, this is a civil rights movement that we're in, but it's very different from the one that our parents experienced. The struggle that they did was way more intense and really, it was really, oh, Imam, you're muted. I didn't know if you was trying to say something else, but
I was telling my kids go to sleep. I'm sorry.
For sure.
Okay. I didn't know. All right, that sounds about right. But yeah, because of the type of struggle that they had, ours is different. So we still have a struggle that we got to do, but we are situated to be quite a bit more successful in a lot of ways than our parents were. And so I think it's important that my children know that my grandmother was a part of the Savannah bus boycott. So, you know, we hear about the Montgomery one a lot. That's the famous one, but many cities had that. My dad's mom is featured in the Savannah African-American Museum, the Culture Museum, because of her work through her church in that boycott. And so the girls need to know that. And we all have those people in our families that did these things that was literally getting bit by the dog, sprayed with hoses, fighting the riot gear cops and all of this stuff. Or they were in the classroom, or they were at the church, or at the whatever the work is that they did. It's really important to me that our children know. And for many, many years, I fought against my voice, I think is the best way I know how to say it. And Ayub just kind of started saying, go speak at this, go talk to that, like almost like not letting it be an option for me. And I assume that everybody on the live with me knows, but maybe not in the audience. 3 years ago, I was kidnapped at gunpoint. And during the therapy coming from that, I struggled with getting my voice back, like not my literal voice, but my figurative voice. And I remember I was at a conference, and for whatever reason, I decided to share that experience and that I was doing therapy and stuff. And a woman came up to me afterwards and we talked. She just burst out in tears and she's crying. And she was like, I think that you sharing that with me just saved my life because I was considering doing something, but I think I'm going to go to therapy instead. Thank you so much for sharing what you're doing. And it just kind of clicked on me because I was trying to figure out, why did I get kidnapped? Like, y'all say it's for a reason, but this ain't feeling real reasonable. Like, you know, this feels real real not good right now. What is the lesson? And then I realized it was that voice. Like, I got to start using my voice. I have to speak. And there's that burden and that responsibility that y'all have spoken to. And so that the responsibility of standing in your gifts, because I do feel like I can speak about things that might be more difficult for other women in an easier way. Done a lot of therapy to be able to get there, but I'm there now. And so even with passing that kind of legacy on to the children, it's kind of stand in your gifts, know the sacrifices that have been made, be prepared to make sacrifices, and then stand in whatever Allah has given you for you to strengthen the people coming behind you. And it's kind of like, we got to keep this train moving forward. And like you said, I kind of do feel like a cog in the whole thing. Like, I don't feel important, so to speak, but I hope that what I'm doing is important enough that it's good enough on the day when it matters. And, you know, we can all meet each other in Jannah. Like, that's the ultimate goal, to be able to get up there and see each other. And if you don't see me, ask about me. that's the goal. Like, you know,
you all definitely matter. Yourself, Sister Indola, and your husband. For us in the city, for sure. So, alhamdulillah, I'll say that.
No.
I mean, we feel it, but every so often Ayub will say, what do you think it is people see? Like, why do they talk to us the way they do, respect of us the way they do? And we'll just talk about it. And usually we're like, I don't really know. But it doesn't really matter if we know or not. What matters is, what are you going to do with it? Right. And so you have to do something. And that's important to us to be doing something.
When we talk about legacy, you know, it's like the other side of the coin of history, right? It's like, what history are you going to make? What history are you going to leave? How will you be remembered? So you mentioned your father, and you know, some of us, we know that he's going through some health difficulties at this time. So, you know, I wanted to ask everybody who's on right now, everybody who sees it, to make dua for Brother Michael. And Bashir, you up in Cleveland, man. My pop had his health issues recently, and then about a week after he got out of the hospital, his wife passed.
Oh wow!
So it's real, you know, Malakul Maut is close to us. You know what I mean? He's real close, and you know, when we talk about what we're able to do, we're only able to do it because of what our forefathers and foremothers did for us. You know what I mean? So, you know, we have to remember those who came before us and honor and again, keep that energy about, you know, remembering the good. You know, when you look at the generation before us, it's so easy to point out all the things that they did wrong. You know, they didn't let us, you know, talk to anybody at the masjid, or, you know, they didn't let us do this, or they didn't let me join this team because the uniform was this or that or whatever. But when you think about where they came from and the mindset that somebody has to be in to reject their entire family and the way that family believed, the God that family believed, the hierarchy, the structure, everything, reject it, often change their name, and then make a whole new group of friends, and also try to build businesses and communities at the same time. That's a yeoman task, right? That's something that you know, we can get so lost in what they didn't do, but I think we should take it upon ourselves to, again, give them their flowers, look for the great in the things that they did, enhance the great in things that they did, and the things, the shortcomings, that's our responsibility.
Yeah.
The shortcomings is our responsibility to cover those up and then continue to build on that. So we can't talk about legacy without talking about our history and the people who are still with us, our pioneers who gave us the opportunity to be in this situation, to build and continue to build on our own legacies.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to say I'm sorry I have to get ready to go. You know, one of the beautiful things that Imam and I have been doing for the past couple of years is we've been classmates. So I have to go to class for another. I have my final class, Imam, inshallah. I graduate this May.
Bashir, y'all don't know, he got a graduate degree in Islamic leadership. So he's not just Mr. Mayor, he's also an Islamic scholar too. So don't let him get past you.
Hey, I didn't know you had a religious studies grad degree. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Y'all heard all them fancy ayats and stuff he was doing.
That's what my grad degree is in, Islamic studies.
No, alhamdulillah, we both graduated in May.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
We've been classmates for the past couple of years, and yeah, inshallah. And the reason why I joined, man, because I just wanted to have a better understanding of my faith. You know, I have no, I'm not looking to be nobody's imam. I'm trying to make Fajr on time, man. I got too many issues. I'm straight. But the reason why the reason why I brought that up is that when you study Islam from the very beginning, after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man, when you see the Muslims been having issues for a long time, you know, and we have to get out of this mindset that you are either perfect or unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's not either or. I mean, it's not either or. Some of the greatest people that we revere as Muslims, you know, they were experiencing the human condition, you know, and I think that we got to get out of this mindset when we like, yo, either you perfect or you going to hell, you know, or you either perfect or, you know, you don't have nothing to bring to this society. That's not the truth. It's not the truth. I mean, you find within our tradition people who were some of the greatest, you know, they brought for the growth of Islam, and you find them and they was engaged in stuff that you wouldn't even imagine. But yet and still, they still have something to offer. See, everyone has something to offer. And I think that's the vibrations of love that we have to have for our community. And what ends up happening is that we push so many people out with a terrible understanding of Islam. And a lot of that comes from my grandparents. I know my grandfather, when I started learning different hadiths, Imam, I'm like, my grandfather, man, been quoting stuff for years. I said, Granddaddy, you wrong, man. He said, brother, stop. He went off on me. You know, I'm like, Granddaddy,
that don't say nothing like that, huh?
That, man. You know, he's mad at me. You know, I'm a dishonorable grandson, and I'm not being a good listener, and you know all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that they studied Islam and understood Islam from a certain perspective. They could only, I mean, you got to understand what time they were in and what they were going through and how they was receiving information. Every way that we receive information, we are being Muslim based upon some filtering process. Like somebody, we're the way that you make salat, the way that you do this, everything that you're doing is based upon somebody's perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to, the hadiths and stuff that you see in Sahih Bukhari and stuff, that wasn't meant for the layman person. It wasn't meant. But now what we do is, well, brother, the hadith say, brother, and we don't use it to make each other better. We use it to put each other down. Hey, brother, the hadith, brother, you don't even know what you're talking about right now, brother. Sister, you pushing people out of Islam and you have no idea the context of what you're talking about as you read it in broken English. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, man, like, we have to be about love, man, and bringing people in. You know, how you don't even know my name, brother. You already told me that my salat is invalid. Come on, brother. You don't know my condition. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know that. You don't know what it took for me to even come to this masjid today, and you done made me not want to come back. And that's the issues that I have, and a lot of Muslims have across this country. They don't even want to go to Juma. They don't even want to go to Juma because they're not getting nothing from it. You know?
Yeah.
And don't tell me, well, brother, your soul understand the Fatiha. Brother, that's brother. Listen, man. You know what I mean? So I just want to close.
You're saying he's done with the foolishness.
I'm done. Listen, and I ain't perfect, and I'm happy with what I learned, and what I learned more than anything is Allah is merciful, and I'm just thankful for that. Because boy, I'm to the ocean like this, and if it's not for Allah's mercy, we all doomed, man. So I want to say thank you so much to Imam Suleiman, and I appreciate what you're doing, man. I appreciate the work that you're doing.
We love you, brother, and support you, you know, all day long.
You bring so much spiritual guidance for me, and I thank you, man. Jermaine, man, really do, man. Let's do it. And I better get a picture of that Browns jersey, brother, because I ain't seen a picture of that yet. But anyway, Masood, man, thank you for the work you're doing, brother. I love you and your family, man. My beautiful nieces and nephews.
Yeah, I'm gonna love you too, brother.
Of course, man. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Man. Love you too, bro.
I can feel y'all love, man, as I battle up here in Cleveland. As for those who tuned in, inshallah, I'll be making my
the next mayor of Cleveland, Mr. Bashir Jones.
I mean, or if not, I'll be in Africa. I'll be right in Senegal, baby. I'm out there.
Either or.
Either make me mayor or I'm moving to Africa.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a Sultan one way or another, huh?
Right.
I love you.
Alhamdulillah, man. Shukran for joining us, man. We appreciate your time. We really, really do, man. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. All right, salam. Now, man, alhamdulillah, man. You know, we could go on and on forever. You know what I mean? But we are gonna end this broadcast for tonight. Inshallah, man. I hope everybody got some benefit out of this conversation, and want everybody just to know, man, that we can do things together. We can do things together, and I think that if we on this level right now, where we are in 2021, decide that we're going to continue to do things together, our legacy is going to be beautiful. It'll be beautiful, man. So, inshallah, we give some inspiration to be able to push the people towards that, to come together and to be able to build together and move together. So, now, anybody got anything to add before we get off, inshallah?
The final remarks.
Yes, thank you for having us, Brother Ayub and Sister Ndola. May Allah continue to bless you all and your family. We're honored to be here. If Jermaine is still on, I'm feeling some type of way that y'all ain't had me on the brothers and the doctor thing yet.
Oh man, what? They ain't had you on yet?
But no, alhamdulillah. Thank you for having me. May Allah continue to bless you all, and inshallah, legacy and family. Alhamdulillah.
No, alhamdulillah.
No, I don't have much to say, man. I just appreciate y'all bringing me on, and I need y'all to understand, Ayub and Ndola, that you guys' legacy has inspired so much. I touched on it when I wrote about you, but being able to get married at such a young age and be successful at it, even though Aziza came kind of right away, y'all was juggling that thing, and I saw my brother go from Cobb County UB to Brother Ayub, like
right.
And it was inspiring to see, even though you younger than me, you my younger brother, but it was definitely something I was like, okay, so this can be done. Like this is something to look up to. So, y'all just understand that, what y'all are doing is most definitely noticed. You guys are definitely a staple and extremely important in the community, and commend you and keep doing the good work that y'all doing.
Alhamdulillah. So alhamdulillah again, man. Thank y'all for being on, man, and inshallah we'll have these conversations behind some closed doors. We continue to have these conversations, because we got.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Yeah, we got work to do. You know what I mean? We got work to do. Nah. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
that was a good one.
That was a good one. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, man. Thank you for everybody who viewed today, and for those who will be viewing, we hope you get some benefit from it. And what we got coming up.
So Friday we have Legacy from with our sisters. Inshallah, we'll have some amazing women on to talk, and we'll be releasing those names by tomorrow.
Inshallah.
After that, we have the importance of the Muslim family from our children's perspective. And so our oldest daughter, Aziza, is going to be hosting, and she will be having this kind of discussion with, some other Muslim children with the intention of really seeing how they're hearing the messages that we're sending them, what is their perspective, what are their ideas, what do they want to contribute, how do they want to contribute, because we're millennials? We're millennials, but our children are, of course, they're a different generation. They're Gen Z. I think they're Gen
can't
Z.
Keep up.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I just know they're a different generation, and that the experiences that we had growing up are not going to be their experiences. And so the way that we are delivering the messages has to be tailored to them, to the way that they speak. And one of the ways to know what children are getting is to just ask them. And so we just asked Aziza, and we asked another friend of ours. I thought it was Z. We asked another friend of ours if they would be comfortable with their children coming on. And so inshallah, we'll have a nice little group of 3 or 4 young people, young adults on to discuss this thing. And then our very last episode of our pre-Ramadan series will be the body and health and fitness. And so we've invited a nutritionist and we'll call her a fitness expert on to help us get ready for Ramadan in terms of our eating and our exercising. What are great ways to eat to prepare our bodies to fast these. I guess the day is shorter than it's been for a while, but it's still a nice long bit of time to be fasting. And because of where in the year Ramadan is starting, each day is going to get a little bit longer instead of shorter. And so these women will be sharing with us some nutrition tips, some hydration and fitness ideas and tips. And so that'll be the last. And then, of course, Ramadan. And we have a slew of things prepared for Ramadan, but we're not going to get too far into that. Just know that we are going to be releasing another ebook, which will be free and available as a resource to go through our Ramadan activities with us. So stay tuned for that as well.
We got a lot on the plate.
It's a lot going on. And then, of course, we got jazz
right.
and everything else. But,
right.
That's neither here nor there. That is it for today. I think that's it.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you again. And be sure to comment any questions you have for us.
Yeah, definitely give us feedback on, what you think about what we've done, what you'd like to see come, because I really just sit down and come up with stuff that I want to do. But I would love to get other people's input on other things. And we can sign off for now.
Yeah. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Good night.